be playing the Bériot Violin Concerto in A minor, number 9.
totally know this piece, you totally feel this piece. The only thing that I think that we should focus on is tone, and kind of how to fill a space, and how do we convey everything we need to with the right timing and things like that. And I think I noticed some things. I think your bow arm sometimes can be a little bit stuck, and therefore you're not getting all the right grip to the string that you possibly can. Can you play some of the openings? Especially the small notes, you're not quite getting the same grip that you knew. Sometimes you're sort of just throwing the bow. And sometimes it works, but think of it as like you have to start the bow on the string. I want to hear that kind of click. And then also, as you're playing, think about using flat hair. I think sometimes your bow might be a little bit too kind of tilted over, so really focus on using flat hair. You might have to rotate back a little bit. Great, so everything was right, and then make sure you really grab. Keep going. Yeah. So sometimes I'm noticing as you're playing, sometimes your bow, you're pressing in, but you're still leaning over, so you're not actually getting all the force. So think of it really as the stick of your bow has to be right on top of the hair. So you might have to lean back just a little bit. Do that one more time. Yes, exactly. So sometimes you're sort of leaning back over this way, so make sure it's always, always, always on top. One more time with grace. I'll stop you because I know that you can do this. Anytime you start a new stroke, always start it from the string. Sometimes we're not getting the full effect. Super, super articulation. If anything, also, I think you might need to work a little bit on finger flexibility. So it's that kind of feeling. So play with perfect articulation and think about gripping everything from your fingers and your digits. So in this room, it's obviously very, very live, but you still have to have a little bit of articulation. think of it still, I think sometimes still you're leaning over a little bit, and I think just flat hair solves so many of the problems. Yes, exactly like that. Really making sure that both notes speak at the same time. And as you're making these crescendos, sometimes I'm noticing that your shoulder's kind of pushing up a little bit. Think of this as, you have to start from a place of total relaxation. Think of it only as like kind of gripping in with your fingers. Try just not moving quite as much. I just want to see what happens. Can you make the crescendo without? Good. With articulation? Good. Put everything together just a little bit more. So everything, you have everything you need. Just make sure that you're doing it from your hand with flat fingers. Okay, can we go right at that section? Good. Here also, even on super high up on the E string, we're not getting a great tone. Can you play? Yes, so it's on the little notes, bum, ba bum, ba bum, that we're not getting the grip that we need to. So this, I think this is the perfect place where you have to think of it as like you're relaxing into the string. Sometimes I think you're trying to force it through bow speed. Try focusing your energy on your thumb, your first finger, and your second finger to really grab into the bow. And as you're playing, also try leaning the tone a little bit more onto the A string. Good. I think that's a better sound. As you're changing bow, you should have a little bit of that snap to your fingers. I think sometimes we're getting a little stuck here. Try just keeping that super loose. Yep. Do me a favor, just do as an exercise. Slowly, but that's the right motion, yep. Yes, so I see, it's like sometimes you have it on the down bow, but you should be able to have that flexibility. I had a teacher who told me that basically it's like, you should be able to do this kind of thing. You should have total flexibility here so that you're only using your fingers. You should break down bow into sometimes just using fingers, sometimes using your wrist, sometimes your elbow, and sometimes shoulder, or rarely shoulder. But basically, these kinds of quick bow changes, you should be able to do it all with your fingers. So, try it one more time, a little slowly. Great, yes. So you're getting the right flexibility. There are different etudes that you can do. There's one that I like, this Road Caprice, number 1. That's a perfect example of just using fingers. So I might focus on that if you want to get more finger flexibility. Okay, so now you've got the flexibility. Make sure you keep flat hair and your elbow dropped a little bit. Can we go from... That's okay. As you're playing, where are you concentrating? Like, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on left hand, on right hand?
Doing the chords on my left hand.
On your left hand, okay. Try doing this whole section where you're really focusing all of your energy just on perfect bow technique. It's okay if the chords are not fully clean. Was so much better. So then now that we have these, because your fingers are stuck, we're getting that kind of uncleanness. Think of it as you're just leaning into the string with your fingers. Your elbow should be roughly kind of in a single place, and you're just rocking back and forth. Good, do that 2 more times. Focus especially on the up bows. One more time, perfect elbow and just rocking back and forth. Exactly. So that's the feeling. I know it's you don't probably feel like you have control of it yet, but that's the general motion that you have. Let's play just you. Obviously, you have to play a double stop. Make sure that you're not just. We need to hear those notes. Keep going. Same thing with the fingers. It's all about fingers for you, I think. Just play the chords. Any chords. Or one more time. Think of this as like you have to start from the string, and you're just very quickly shooting your fingers. Just play. So start from the string and only focus on just like a very quick bow stroke, and it's almost like you're like if you ever did like yo-yo or like you're bouncing a ball. It's basically just this motion. Just play that chord. So the motion should be like a little bit of this. It's like you're tossing a ball away. In slow motion, it's yes. So as you practice these chords, just focus on that. Instead of using a bigger muscle group, it's all about the fingers. Yes, I know that I'm focusing a lot on bow, but I think that's kind of the only issue for you is just really getting the tone to speak through relaxation instead of pressure. Let's do this section one more time. Grace. I'm seeing, I think that like, did you recently have a growth spurt? No? Okay. Because sometimes it seems like your arm, you're not used to how you can like let it relax. I think about letting your elbow sink a little bit and really just go from the fingers. You should feel like your shoulders down, your elbow can come down, and everything just kind of sinks through gravity. Because then you don't have to do any pressure. I think that's where sometimes you get stuck a little bit. So just really sink. Feel like your elbow has like an anchor on it. Excellently, maybe a little bit too much sometimes. So think of it as sort of like in the middle of the bow. That's when you have to let it go a little bit. It doesn't have to stay down, just. Good, yes. So, relaxation and flat hair. Basically, I think that's the key for you. Fingers, flat hair, and just keeping the elbow down. I want to reserve some time for questions just in case. I think that's basically everything we need to do. So just focus on articulation and projecting all the characters that you want there. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.